says, I have a dream that my 4 little children will one day live in a nation where they will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. I have a dream today.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Much better, thank you. Welcome to the City of Westland after Martin Luther King Day celebration. The city has honored MLK Day for over 20 years. As I pondered this year's MLK Day celebration, I reflected on the fact that Dr. King on January 15th would have celebrated his 90th birthday. I wonder what Dr. King would think about the person who occupies the office in 1900 Pennsylvania Avenue. What would Dr. King say about a misogynistic, ethnically challenged, bigoted, biased, prejudiced, habitual liar, homophobic, disrespectful, illiterate, adolescent, xenophobe, fake news game show host? I think Dr. King would say, there's a lot of work to be done, and the White House is definitely not a place for a person with these kind of issues. At this time, I'd like to introduce Father Burchard of St. Simon and Jude Parish for the invocation.
Thank you. I haven't done anything yet. Loving and merciful God, keep us ever mindful of your wisdom and kindness, your wisdom that has been conveyed to us over millennia by your sages and prophets, your kindness and forbearance extended to us when we have been too slow to end the suffering of our sisters and brothers. Your lessons teach us that if anyone is hurt, all are hurt. Anyone demeaned weakens and diminishes us all. On this occasion, we honor your prophet and our brother Martin, who taught that every human being, regardless of their station, gender, faith, or color, is imbued with dignity. His message and life were and must remain a light to us all. That light is entrusted to all people with a mandate that is to be kept burning brightly. With that light, help us to see injustice and eliminate it from our society. May we see inequality more distinctly and be resolved to end it. Let us see unmistakably the divine manifestation present in every person. In your name, let us embrace the light and message of your prophet and servant, Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr., and let us pass it on to the generations to follow. Bless us as we resolve to continue his work, his journey to the promised land, a journey Martin could not complete with us, though he surely pointed the way. Bless us in our efforts to accomplish the mission we have been given. We ask and we pray in every holy name by which you are known. Amen. Amen.
Thank you, Father Burchard. At this time, I would like for the Police Chief, Jed Ruzick, Fire Chief Mike Stradner, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand as the John Glenn High School JROTC, led by Sergeant Major Phoenix, to present the colors.
Mark time. Mark. Shoulder guard. Oh. But, face. Freeze then. Arms.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. About. Face. One step forward. March. Post. Two steps backward. March. Left. Face. Forward. March.
Please be seated. Thank you, Sergeant Major Phoenix, to JROTC, Police Chief Jess Jerujic, and Fire Chief Jess Stradner. At this time, please allow me to introduce saxophonist Stephen Thomas to perform Lift Every Voice and Sing. For those of you who want to sing along, the words can be found in your chairs. Lift Every Voice and Sing was written as a poem and first performed as part of the celebration of Abraham Lincoln's birthday on February 12, 1900, by 500 school children at a segregated Stanton School in Jacksonville, Florida. Mr. Thomas, the floor is yours. Please stand. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen. Please be seated. At this time, allow me to introduce President Jim Godbout, who will come up and say a few words and to acknowledge the dignitaries.
I'd just like to thank everyone for coming out on this brisk morning. Unfortunately, we had to cancel the walk due to the frigid temperatures, but I'm glad to see that we still have a great turnout of residents and guests and dignitaries from the area. We're going to try and do this a little bit different, and I wish everyone would please hold their applause and as I announce the dignitaries by groups, and then we'll have a round of applause for everyone at the end of the introductions. First, Westland Mayor William Wild. My colleagues and members of the Westland City Council, please keep standing after members of the Westland City Council, representatives from the state of Michigan, representatives from Wayne County, other elected officials from the 18th District Court and the City Clerk's Office, members of the Westland Administration, the City of Westland boards and commission members, members of the Wayne Westland Community Schools, mayors, township supervisors, city managers, and city council members of surrounding communities, our business partners in the city, the leaders and congregations of the church community, and all the residents of the great city of Westland. Please stand. Once again, on behalf of all my colleagues on the Westland City Council, thank you for coming this morning.
Thank you, President Godbout. Now we will hear or see a short video greeting from Governor Gretchen Whitmer.
Hi everyone, this is Governor Gretchen Whitmer. I'm so sorry I could not attend the event today. I am in Lansing today at the biggest luncheon in America. It's in Lansing, Michigan to honor Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And today being a National Day of Service, I'll be volunteering in Lansing as well. So I wanted to give you my good wishes. Thank you for acknowledging this important day, and I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you, Governor Whitmer. Now it's time for another musical selection, Wade in the Water. Wade in the Water was published in 1901 by Fisk Jubilee. The song was encoded with explicit instructions to fugitive slaves on how to avoid capture and the route that they should successfully take towards freedom. Today, this song remains one of the most significant songs in the continued fight for freedom and equality. Performing Wade in the Water today, please welcome Gabrielle Wade and Daniel Tillery. Sorry, Daniel Wild.
Wade in the water, wade in the water, children, wade in the water. Someone's a-coming the water. Who's that young girl dressed in red? Wade in the water. Must be the children that Moses led. God's gonna trouble the water. water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble the water. Who's that young girl dressed in white? Wade in the water. Must be the children of the Israelites. God's gonna trouble that water. Wade in the water. Wade in the water, children. Wade in the water. God's gonna trouble that water.
Who's that young girl dressed in blue? Wade in the water. Must be the children coming through. God's gonna trouble that water. Wade in the water.
Wade in the water, children. Wade
In the water.
God's gonna trouble the water. Who'd ever say I'll be redeemed? Wade in the water. Just as the Holy comes looking for me, God's gonna trouble that water. Wade
In the water. Wade in the water, children.
Wade
In the water.
God's gonna trouble the water.
Yeah, let's give another hand for that. I was kind of worried about how that was going to come off, but it came off real nice. Real nice. Good job. Thank you. Thank you. At this time, I would like to introduce a friend of mine, a client, and your Westland mayor for the past 14 years, a man that I trust, a man that I can disagree with and respect the differences and opinion, a man of action, a thinker, a people person, and he has a sense of humor too. Your mayor, William R. Weil.
Thank you, thank you. You guys got to save that standing applause for Andrew. He's up next, so he's the guy you're here to see, not me. So, well, welcome everybody to this year's Martin Luther King Day, Martin Luther King Jr. Day celebration to honor the accomplishments of this fine man and to celebrate his legacy that lives on. This has been a tradition here in the city of Westland for a long time. So, hopefully we didn't hurt too many feelings this morning when we had to cancel that Freedom Walk. How many of you stayed up late last night to see that blood wolf moon? All right, okay. Well, you get extra credit for staying up and for being here this morning too. So, and I want to welcome my wife Sherry. She's with me here this morning too. And how about Gabrielle and Dan? They did a great job, didn't they? So Gabrielle's my sister, so you can see in the family who got the good looks and got the talent, right? Yep. So, all right. Well, thank you both for being here today, and of course, Stephen Thomas, a Westland original. Man, he can work that sax, can he? All right. Thank you, sir. So, in the words of Dr. King, there comes a time when one must take a position that is neither safe, nor politic, nor popular, but he must take it because his conscience tells him it's right. This statement, I would speak for our friend Dewey Reeves this morning too. He had a couple words to say this morning too. So Dewey, we appreciate that, and Dewey has never changed. He is who he is, and that's why we love him, so thank you for being here today. Dewey served as fine as a elected official on the Westland City Council, and he continues to serve the community that he loves as a Civil Service Commissioner on our Police and Fire Civil Service Board, and he's joined by with Reverend Luke McClendon, who's two of the three members, and they're helping us to create a more diversified public safety department here in the city of Westland, and we appreciate their efforts to do that. Let's give them both a big round of applause. So the statement that I mentioned by Dr. King, I think it tells us that he understood the risk involved with this fight for equality, and this year marks the 50th anniversary of his assassination. His willingness to put his own safety and well-being aside for the greater good is why every year we gather here and all across the country to honor this great man. Westland has honored this tradition for over 20 years, and it goes back over 3 or 4 different mayors, and I'm hoping that the next mayor of the city of Westland will make a priority to continue this Westland tradition. It's an honor to worship today this great man and spend time with the community. And did you hear, Council President, the largest round of applause today was for the residents of the city of Westland, so that's what it's all about. After drawing nationwide attention to segregation, Dr. King became a core organizer of the famous 1963 March on Washington, which demanded political and economic justice for all Americans. It was a public opportunity for Dr. King and his cohorts to place their concerns and grievances before the nation's capital, as expressed by Dr. King in his renowned "I Have a Dream" speech. The March on Washington not only led to the passage of significant civil rights legislation, but it also allowed Dr. King to advocate for other human rights causes like poverty and workers' rights, and those fights still continue today as well. Today, there's a different kind of March in Washington happening, as 2018 was a significant election year for strides in diversity. Around the country, history was made as votes were tallied. Johanna Haynes became the first African-American woman elected to represent Connecticut in the House of Representatives. Jared Polis of Colorado became the first openly gay man to be elected governor of a U.S. state. Sylvia Garcia and Veronica Escobar became Texas's first Latina women in Congress. Ayanna Pressley became Massachusetts' first African-American congresswoman. Our own Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar became the first Muslim women elected to Congress. Sharice Davids and Deb Haaland became the first Native American women elected to Congress. Tennessee elected its first female U.S. Senator, Marsha Blackburn. And Kyrsten Sinema became the first openly bisexual senator in U.S. history. Having a government that more accurately reflects the population it serves will help push legislation forward to better reflect the wants and needs of the people of our country. Having a diverse makeup of leadership will also serve to inspire our nation's youth to keep pushing and breaking down barriers, and that is how our country will continue to make progress towards equality. Here in Westland, we continue to hire, elect, and appoint minorities to serve our community in a multiple of roles, and several of them leadership roles. And Dr. Holt, I saw you sitting over there in the corner. She is leading our Wayne Westland School District. Very talented woman, and thank you for moving your family across the United States to Westland to help move forward the education for our children. Thank you. And while we maintain steadfast progress in our city, we know that there's still work to be done. We will continue to prioritize the development of a diversified workforce, because we know that our community's increasingly diverse makeup is an asset as we strive to create a 21st century city that offers equal opportunity for all of its residents. And so we celebrate today not only the progress that is being made here in the city of Westland, but around the country as well. And we know that we're able to listen to each other and collaborate to create a more fair and just world, more than the one that Dr. King left behind. So I think that he'd be proud that we have made some progress. We stand in solidarity with those who fight for equal human rights, and we celebrate the opportunity to create accountability and positive solutions for change. And I appreciate those in the room that have worked with the City of Westland as we do search for positive solutions for change. And one of those individuals is going to deliver the closing prayer tonight, and that's Reverend Dr. Duckworth. John Duckworth, thank you for your help over the past year to help the City of Westland and our public safety create a better working relationship with the community. So thank you for that. I do appreciate it. And I want to thank all of you for taking time to be here today and for sharing in our promise of being a welcoming community for people from all walks of life, because that's what we strive to be. And of course, in closing, I thank Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., who, as Dewey said, would have celebrated his 90th birthday last week, for paving the way for all of us and providing us with the roadmap as we continue on our journey towards equality and a perfect union. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor. It was very nice, very nice. Allow me to invite at this time State Representative Jewel Jones and State Representative Kevin Coleman to introduce our keynote speaker. Gentlemen.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Good morning. I'm Jewel Jones, and this is
State Representative Kevin Coleman.
Happy to be here. I'm glad that Council President Gottbaugh did that different switch up this morning, introducing the leadership, the dignitaries, and also the residents, because it echoes, the sentiment that Dr. King once talked about. We may have came over on different ships, but we're in the same boat now. So no matter what we do, we all put our pants on, the same way every morning, our boots. Well, I see some people are wearing skirts this morning, but we all get up the same. So first and foremost, we're brothers and sisters here, so we just need to make sure we keep that in mind. But to introduce our keynote speaker for today, Mr. Andrew Humphrey. He is an Emmy Award-winning meteorologist and reporter at WDIV-TV, Local 4. In addition, he is proud to have earned the AMS Certified Broadcast Meteorologist distinction. And delivers science and technology reports for Tech Time with Andrew Humphrey. These honors point to Andrew's passion for weathercasting and storytelling that help people stay informed and safe. Born and raised near the nation's capital, Andrew went to school in Wolverine County, earning his BSc in meteorology from the University of Michigan. He earned his MS in meteorology from the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Andrew came to WDIV from Fox affiliate in Toledo, Ohio, where he was chief meteorologist, and prior to that, he was seen globally on CNN and CNN International and got his start in Washington, D.C., at the local NBC and Fox stations. He also worked as a research scientist at the NOAA and NASA.
Andrew enjoys being involved with the community, especially as a featured speaker to students at every grade level. He's founder and chair emeritus co-chair of the Digital Journalism Task Force of the National Association of Black Journalists. As past president of the National Association of Black Journalists Detroit chapter, serves as a board member and advisor of the Chandler Park Conservancy, the Detroit chapter of the National Association of Asian American Professionals, the Chinese American Professional Association, the Michigan Humane Society, and the University of Michigan Club of Greater Detroit. Andrew's awards include an Emmy Award, the Spirit of Detroit Award from the Detroit City Council, a Distinguished Service Award from the Boys and Girls Club, and the Community Service Award from the National Association of Black Journalists. It's our pleasure to announce Andrew Humphrey.
Representatives, thank you very much. Mr. Mayor, I don't know if that was quite as loud as yours, given the weather outside, but that's understandable. But remember, I don't create the weather. I leave that to a higher power, all right? I just deliver the news on it, okay? Thank you again, representatives. Commission President Reeves, thank you very much. Council President Godbolt, thank you very much. Mayor Wild, thank you once again. Other distinguished guests who are here today, members of law enforcement, members of the fire department, fire and rescue, of course, and of course, the people, distinguished citizens here in Westland and throughout the rest of Wayne County, Southeast Michigan, the state of Michigan. It is certainly an honor to be here with you this morning on this wonderful holiday, of course, MLK Day. Diversity Day is what it's also known as we remember what Dr. King stood for. And we remember really what we all stand for: goodness, equality, freedom for all people. It's a dream that lives forever, of course. It's a dream that lives forever. It's an idea that lives forever. It's a goal that lives forever. Isn't that right, everybody? Yes. Now, some fair warning here, all right? I do happen to be a meteorologist. I do work on television, as my fellow videographers and engineers who are here, who will be recording this and who will be broadcasting this later today or later this week, can attest to. You tell a weatherman or weatherwoman that, hey, you can be on stage, you have the microphone to yourself, talk as long as you want, you're in for a long morning or a long afternoon. All right? So just prepare yourselves on that. Secondly, once again, it's still going to be very cold outside, but I'm glad everyone here, once again, is prepared for that as well. But no snow for today. I can at least guarantee that. Does that help?
That helps.
Okay. Also, fair warning to the videographers that are here. I like this to be, when I talk, I especially like to be a little bit interactive with my audience, all right? So videographers, just be prepared to zoom out wide for a little bit. I'm going to talk with some of the students that are here as well, and be prepared for that, okay? Be prepared for that, okay? Cool, okay? Excellent. A little bit of interaction here. Although you just stood up, please stand up once again. I know you've still been sitting for a long time. So just go ahead and just,
Shake it out.
Yeah, just shake it out. Like I said, I already warned you, you might be here for a bit, so there you go. So thank you very much. Please sit down once again. Let's give a round of applause. Let's give a round of applause to the wonderful students that are here. Students, if you're here, ROTC, any other students in the audience, pre-K. No, seriously, stand up, stand up, stand up. I want you to stand. Please stand. I saw there's a child here who's at least in pre-K. Did he already leave? Where is he there? Oh, it's his birthday? Stand up. It's your birthday. Stand up for that. And continue standing. Continue standing. Here, is it Dan, Mr. Tillery? Yeah. Help him stand on the chair. People can't see him. Remain standing. And where's the young lady that was standing here? She went to the restroom. As soon as she comes back, ask her to stand and continue standing. Any other students in the audience? All right, good. Yeah, stand and continue standing. All right. Yeah, college students stand. If you're a college student also, stand and remain standing. Yeah, sure, yes. Good. And remain standing. This will be a quick interaction real quick. Because this illustrates my point, which I'm going to get to in my main talk here, okay? All right, some of you are a bit younger. Some of you are a bit more mature. I can already see that, all right? But don't be offended at the way I ask this question, especially to the older students. But you're already grown. But I'm going to ask you real briefly. High school students, you're in high school or junior high? High school. All right. You're obviously more mature, but don't be offended by the way I ask this. To both of you, young lady first, what do you want to be when you grow up? One more time, loud and proud. An engineer. Why do you want to be an engineer? Basically. No, your gut. Why do you want to be an engineer? Do you like math? Okay. Do you like science? Do you like helping people? All right, other students that are here, you're getting a primer. I'm going to ask you the same questions, so just give us some thought. But very good, young lady. Keep standing. Young man, what do you want to be when you grow up? Join the military. Okay, and why? Fun and fascinating. Okay, good. Continue standing. She hasn't come back yet. Sir, you're older, so what do you want to be when you become a professional and earn your degree? Fantastic. What career do you want to pursue? What's your dream job?
Dream job? Not to have a
job. All right. Okay. I get where you're going there. All right. I love my job. Everyone knows the adage, right? If you love your job, you don't work a day in your life. Okay, I got it. What degree are you getting? What degree are you earning? Great. So you want to become an economist of some sort, right? Okay, terrific. Why are you studying economy?
Because it's the flow of money and everything like that. And I don't want to do the economy in
Go ahead.
definition, but it's just the way that the money flows.
Fantastic. Other members of the audience that I haven't gotten to, remember, these are not trick questions. Sir, what are you earning your degree in?
I've already got my bachelor's. I'm going for my master's.
Fantastic. In what?
MBA.
And why?
It's the next step in my professional career.
Fantastic. Young man, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Professional soccer player.
Great. After your soccer career, what do you want to do?
Father. I'm going to be a father.
Great. And while being a father, what other job do you want to pursue? Because when you become a professional soccer player, by the time you're about 30 or 35, you may be out of soccer. So what do you want to do for the next 60, 70 years of your life, at least? Everyone, let's help them through this. Ladies and gentlemen, you're familiar with soccer or American football. Who are the men who run around? Who are the men or women who run around the field blowing a whistle?
Referees.
Exactly. Before you go out on the field, who is the man or woman? Continue standing, young lady. Who is the man or woman that tells you what plays to run? Begins with a C. Very good. The Detroit Lions. No jokes about them. The Detroit Lions. Mrs. Ford, what is her job title? Begins with an O. Young man, we just said, everyone please say referee, coach, owner. Those are other adult jobs that surround your passion for soccer. Do you understand what I'm saying? So think about that as you continue to pursue your soccer career. Young lady, what do you want to be when you grow up? Great. Why do you want to be a veterinarian? You love to work with animals. Fantastic. Representative Jewell, what do you want to, what other careers are you pursuing? What are your other dream jobs?
I got a bone to pick with my chief of staff first. He said he didn't want to work.
All right. So Tuesday morning, back to work. That'll be an interesting conversation between the two of you. But you have fun with each other. I get where you're going. Yes, Representative.
Just want to continue to serve the public in, I guess, as much of a capacity as I possibly can.
And why? Why do you want to serve?
My parents instilled it in me, and then, it's just, I love serving. I mean, look who I get to serve.
Exactly right. And young man, who is, happy birthday once again. Quickly, everybody, what's your first name? What's your first name? Arthur? Is it Arthur? Everybody, happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Arthur. Happy birthday to you. Let's give a round. Arthur, what would you like to be when you grow up? A scientist. Why do you want to become a scientist? Because you love science. Fantastic. Everyone, let's give all of our students, young and old, a big round of applause. Oh, I almost forgot. Young lady, what do you want to be when you grow up?
Pediatrician.
Why?
I wanted to go in the medical field, and I like working with children.
You like working with children. Fantastic. Now a big round of applause. Thank you very much. The reason why I ask that is, the reason why I say that is this, and this ties into another point that I'll get to in just a second. Look, when I was growing up, you said you wanted to be a soccer player, young man. I wanted to be a professional football player when I was growing up. But look at me. Do I look like a professional football player? Don't even have to get a yes or no. The laughter says it all, right? But don't worry, I started laughing at myself too. Especially, now don't get me wrong, I was not TV land, I was not a complete scrub. I still made the varsity team in high school. I'm still at least proud of that, okay? But on game day, mostly on Saturdays, when we would play football, this is when I was growing up in the state of Maryland, right outside of Washington, D.C. Sometimes we had Friday night games, but most of the games, varsity ones included, were on Saturday. So on Saturday, when the team hit the field, I hit the field as well. Then I did what you're doing, sitting down on the bench most of the time. Or if I got out there on the field, I was the one getting run over, or I was the one chasing the other guy down the field who had the football running for a touchdown. Is that good news or bad news for me if I want to become a professional football player? Good or bad? Exactly. Mom and Dad realized that was bad news also. Mom and Dad sat me down and they said, look, Andy, we know that you love football, but in case it doesn't work out, they were still being nice. In case it doesn't work out, everyone go like this. Remember these two things. Hands too, please. Remember these two things. Remember, I like to be interactive. Remember these two things. Now everyone go like this. Please. Please. Thank you. Everyone go, stuff that you love. Everyone go, stuff that I love. Stuff I know well. Stuff that I love. Stuff I know well. Stuff I love. Stuff that I love. Stuff I know well. Mom and Dad said, remember those two things. Stuff that you love, stuff that you know well, and that will help you go a long way. That will help be your guide to pursuing whatever it is your dream is. Dr. King had and has a dream that is forever living within us and outside of us to make the world a better place by treating our fellow man or fellow woman equally, by realizing that we are all just as special as the next person. Those of you who are in the audience who heard these wonderful students, including the parents and grandparents or relatives of the students, they may want to pursue a career, they might want to pursue a goal that might have been different from yours right now. But remember, that is okay. A lot of times when I speak to students, a lot of times when I speak to young people, they have similar answers. Becoming a veterinarian, becoming a scientist, yes, becoming a soccer player, becoming an athlete, maybe going into the movies, maybe going into music. A lot of times moms or dads can cringe at first, especially if it's a career or pursuit that they're not familiar with. But remember, all of us men and women in here, we all have our own jobs every single day to help serve other people. Entertainers serve other people by simply entertaining us and helping us relax a little bit. Same thing with athletes. Public service officials, like the ones here in this room, they help serve us every day by trying to make sure our roads are clean and safe. The garbage is picked up. We feel safe and secure in our own homes. We don't have to worry when our children are going to and from school. We're making sure that the economy is running perfectly, or as perfectly as it can, so we all can stay safe and secure in our own jobs, so our boys and girls, our sons, daughters, grandsons, granddaughters, brothers and sisters can go ahead and pursue their passions, pursue what they know to help make their career and make their lives and their families all better. And that's what my mother and father instilled in me. Dr. King himself, through his pursuit of a dream and also organizing, he, of course, knew the threats that were against him, but did that stop him? Did that stop his organization? Did that stop the men or women who were like-minded and believed in him? Yes or no? No. So that should not stop any of the students or any of us in here to help us pursue our goals and what we want to do day in and day out, whether it's performing our jobs, raising a family, helping other people in society, or, of course, all three. We can do all three at the same time. Now, I'll talk about my mother and father for a little bit. My mom and dad, who are both now in heaven looking down on us, or their spirit runs through me, and quite frankly, it runs through all of us. They grew up with hardship as well. I'll tell you a little bit about them. You know, most of the time when you see me on television, I mean, look, I know I have to perform my job every day, and what is it? Mainly to deliver weather and news. So it doesn't give me an opportunity, and not that I'm asking for it, of course, to really share a little bit about myself. I do share my passion for meteorology and helping people make sure they get to work or school on time through the cold or through the snow, or so they can have a good time, whether it's warm and sunny so you can go swimming in the summer. We can have those warm thoughts right now to help get through the cold, right? Or even if you love the snow, like I do, to go ahead and have snowball fights and do some sledding. Or if the weather was worse, making sure that, hey, indoors is the place to be so we can keep ourselves and keep our families safe and secure. That's the passion that I bring to work every single day. And that's why I remember when I think about my mother and father as well. Not only because of the advice that they gave me, but now because they've departed the physical realm and now they're here with us all spiritually, understanding a little bit more about them and maybe some of the struggles that they had to go through. And why do I say struggles? Well, it's because of these main factors. It just so happens that my mother happened to have been white and happened to have been Jewish. My father happened to have been African American, and he happened to have been Christian. But because of love, they got together and they built a family. And that, of course, included me. But this was during a time where, even in some places, here, right here in the United States of America, at the time they had gotten together, it was either illegal for them to get together, it was considered improper for them to get together. In some places in the United States, it may have been life-threatening for either one of them or both of them to actually get together. Yet and still, love conquered all, and they did get together. That's one of the things I've been thinking about most recently between my mother and father. Also within my mother and father, both of their backgrounds, being Caucasian and Jewish, being black and Christian, being just Jewish, just being African American, or just being from African descent, they're also survivors. Within themselves, within their own blood, literally within their DNA, is the story of survival and triumph. From two separate Holocausts. One that many of us are familiar with in World War II, because my grandparents had to flee the Nazis, and the only place that was accepting Jews at the time was Shanghai, China. So they fled to China in the late 30s, built a life there, and that's where my mother was born, before eventually moving back to Europe after World War II briefly, and then settling here in the United States. My father, of course, a different Holocaust that started nearly 500 years ago, and many would argue may still be happening today. But all those relatives, through hundreds of years, up until now, the 21st century, had that survival, had that sense of ownership, had that perseverance. And even those who didn't make it offered the sacrifice, and their spirit and their blood is still flowing, of survival. Personally, for me, that blood is now pumping through my veins. So that survival, that perseverance, that passion, that goodness, that love that I mentioned earlier is flowing within me. But this is not all about me, especially on this holiday. Take a look around you here in this room. Just take a moment, just look around real quick. There are people here in this room, either American or not American, who have descendants from Africa, from Asia, from North and South America, from Australia, from Europe, from all 6 populated continents, right here in this room. That means not only is love, goodness, passion pumping through me, represented by decades, centuries, millennia of survival, it's pumping through you as well. Does that make sense? Yes. Does that make sense? That's how we're all one. That is exactly how we are all equal. That is exactly how all of us can contribute to Dr. King's dream of equality for all, freedom for all, so we can spread more love, goodness, and passion, not only in the great city of Westland, Michigan, the great city of Detroit, Michigan, the great region of Southeast Michigan, the great state of Michigan itself, the United States of America, but the entire world. That is what Dr. King represents today. That is what I represent here on the stage. That is what the gentlemen who happen to be here on the stage represent. And most importantly, you in the audience, collectively, that is what all of us represent on this MLK holiday, not just for one day, not just for 1 month, but throughout the entire year and for the rest of our lives, to spread goodness, love, and passion, to pursue all of our dreams, whatever they happen to be, to make the world a better place. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me, and have a wonderful day.
Thank you, Andrew. That was very invigorating. I appreciate your honesty and your candor. Thank you for sharing a
part of you with us.
Thank you, Commissioner President.
We appreciate that. At this time, I'd like to bring up Pastor John Duckworth of Gethsemane Missionary Baptist Church for the closing prayer.
Shall we pray? Lord, in the midst of the spirit of division and hatred that have seemed to rekindle within our nation, I pray that we will counter it with the spirit of love, respect of personhood, tolerance, and unity. Allow us, O Lord, to rekindle the spirit of Dr. King and forge a spirit of concern for humanity and a restoration of dignity for this nation. Lord, allow us to understand that you have created us equally, although not identically, to showcase your desire of diversity and harmony. I pray, Lord, that you will use us today as instruments of compassion and transformation for this nation, our city, and state. In the name of Christ, we do pray now. Amen.
Thank you, Pastor Duckworth. I'd like to take this time to thank everyone for coming out to attend MLK Day today. I appreciate you weathering the storm. I appreciate your attentiveness and the fact that you are willing to be here to celebrate such a great man. At this time, we will have the John Glenn JROTC return to retire the colors. Please stand.
Helen, Mark. Mark, Mark. Color guard. Halt. Right. Face. Freeze, man. Arm. Order. Arm. One step forward. March. Retrieve. Colors. Two steps backwards. March. Left. Face. Forward. March.
Thanks, everyone. That will end this celebration. Be safe on the way out of here. Stay warm. Spread love. Thank you so much.